Hey everybody. Get rid of the monitoring thing. You'll tell me if I'm silent, I'm sure. So, welcome to Eric's Edge. And today is mailbag day. Got a bunch of stuff. This one's a battery for an iPod. Not going to do that today. That'll be later. Here's the iPod. So, picked it up from an auction, and of course it's got a dead battery. Garth sent me some RAM so I can upgrade the RAM in this. So we'll be doing that first. You have your speakers on. Echo, echo, echo. Alright. Where do I have speakers on? The headset's turned off. I don't have speakers on the PC. So I must be getting audio feedback from somewhere. Okay. Can you hear me now? Because I fiddled around with the audio settings. So hopefully it's okay. Yeah, I'm hearing a bit of an echo. Is that any better? Okay, we're going to go with it. I will say that there is some guys on top of my garage and also on the roof that are re-roofing, so you may hear the occasional blast of Spanish Mexican music or a generator running or something like that. Okay. Alright, so what else did I get? Garth, thank you very much for the memory. That'll be nice because this thing's only got 256 in it. And I also got, sorry for the crinkle, get this in the right camera so you can see it, a solid state mSATA drive. And today I got the enclosure. So hopefully we can get that working. I've got OS 9 on a USB stick that I used to get the spinny drive going, so should be able to use that to get the mSATA going, I hope. Anyway, so first thing we're going to do is turn off this puppy. I'm going to switch screens here. Alright. So let's shut down. Oop, I didn't hook the mouse up. Shut down. I've backed up some things just to make sure I've got them. Disconnect the power cord. Yes, I will do the RAM first before I do anything else. Remove the battery. You may have noticed this battery has got a different color foot on it, so this obviously is a replacement. I imagine the original battery had the same kind of translucent plastic paint job, unpainted plastic on the outside that's transparent with paint on the inside. This doesn't, so it must be from a Snow White. Okay, so I'm doing this from memory, but I believe that you just remove the keyboard. I kind of like the way they did this keyboard a little bit. I'm not 100% happy with it. Instead of having a screw on it to lock it down, they have this tiny little magnet that holds the top edge of the keyboard down on this small metal plate. Oh yeah, I forgot to get tools. I will be right back. I have to borrow my daughter's kit. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. This is my daughter's iFixit kit. Bought it for her while she was in college as a Christmas present. Should have bought 2 of them, so I had one. Because they definitely come in very handy. I use the little tray with the squares to do screw management so I can make sure I don't lose anything. Because iBooks have 1,300 different screws in them. In fact, I may have to pull up the iFixIT guide while I'm doing this because I'm sure I can't remember exactly everything, but this is my 3rd time of opening this thing all the way up to the drive. So, anyway, but I'm going to put the magnet over here. And of course it went all the way over to here to the iFixIT magnet. There. So I don't think I'll lose it. Alright. So first thing we got to do is get the Wi-Fi card out. If I remember right, you have to squeeze these suckers together while you pull on this. There it goes. And disconnect the antenna. So take a second to see who we got with us today. And starting from the top, Retro Techie. No, you can't have it. But if you give me $1 million, I'll let you buy it. And we've got Dave from Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Welcome. And Garth Beagle. Thanks again for the memory. Adam. Hello. Yep, that looks like what we got here. Garth, I want to make a few curated images like that which work on various appropriate systems. Yeah, I think all of us have random setups for our blue scuzzies with different images all set up and all that. So I've got a mishmash of files all over the place. I really need to get it all cleaned up. So I'm probably like a lot of people in that regard. Alright, so we got that out. There's 2 screws that hold the RF shield in. iFixIT kit. And I forget which one it is. I think it's the 8, isn't it? Of course, without my glasses on, I can't see a darn thing. Now, why do they put black on black with these things? I guess I'll just try them at random until I get to the right one. Too big. Still too big. Well, I do appreciate my daughter keeps her tools organized. Am I doing the right one? Probably not. Oh, come on, really? This is what I get for not setting up before the shoot, so that everything's laid out. You know, my drive set is actually a lot smaller. And you can see what I'm working in with this little thing. But the nice thing about it is I think one of these will fit. That's not it. Really? Oh, darn. Is this one a Phillips? Shoot. No wonder why I can't figure it out. It's a damn Phillips screw. You know the older power books that had maybe a couple of different lengths of screws, but every single damn screw had the same head on it? Why the heck did they use such a mishmash of things on this computer? I will never know. Well, at least that mystery's solved, right? Now, lift this plate out. Get into the box. All right. That's done. Hey, memory. Oh man, I've had glasses since high school. I can remember when I first got them and put them on. I'd been driving for 2 years, I think. Maybe. I can't remember. Put them on, got in the car, started driving. I'm like, oh my God, I can see the pavement and the lines. In the signs, I could read the signs. And my mother was like, oh my God, you've been driving for 2 years with bad vision? So they've always been bad. They've just gotten progressively worse, which is why I have progressive lenses. Anyway, so yeah, let me look at this from the top. Excuse my body in the way. I do not want to break the tabs on this thing. Black stick. My kingdom for a black stick. Another reason why I borrow my daughter's tools. 2 black sticks. There we go. Popped right up. What's scary? Oh, driving with bad vision like that? Yeah, it is damn scary. Yeah, my mother wasn't too thrilled that I hadn't told her how bad it was. But, you know, it progressively got worse, so, you know, how did I know? And I was young and stupid. When I got my first contacts, I remember walking outside the doctor's office and seeing individual leaves on trees. Yeah, exactly. I've tried wearing contacts. I've got my astigmatism's kind of bad, so the lenses are pretty expensive. I did get to the point where I could do one lens in one eye for distance and nothing in the other one for reading, but you get used to it. But yeah, it wasn't any fun. I gave up on it. I've been wearing glasses for so long. Might as well just do it. All right. So this is, I can get it up here close enough if it'll focus. Can you focus? No, you can't focus that close. Yeah, this is 128 meg. So we'll set that aside. Oh, thanks for the sticker, the Blue Scuzzy sticker. This is actually a Blue Scuzzy kit bag, so it's good that we get to reuse anti-static bags, right? All right. And this is what did you say it was? I think you said this was a 256. Focus. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, I hate how these things go in. I can never tell if I've got it seated all the way or not. Here we go. Now it is. All right. Should be okay. Do I want to bother putting the airport? Yeah, let's just assume everything is going to work perfectly because it always does, right? So we're going to go ahead and put the shield back in. We're going to grab the screws. And where did I put the screwdriver? Right down here. Put your fool glasses back on, Eric. Here they are. You guys seen the Twilight Zone episode with, what was his name? Burgess Meredith? Meredith? Where he's a bank teller with really poor eyesight, hides in the vault to read, and the atomic bomb is dropped, and he's the only one left that survived, and he finally figures out what he's going to do. He's stacking up books at the library, so he's got years of reading, and he drops his glasses and breaks them. And I'm like, dude, you might be half blind, but you could stumble around and find a pair of reading glasses somewhere. Really? Magnifying glass at least? Something. But I suppose they really, it was just TV, so they're not going to do all that. Okay, airport cards back in. Of course, I forgot to put the antenna on, but there, got the antenna on. And I think the antenna actually has to go above that. I think about it, cable goes, I think it goes like that. So you want to get it anchored down. Did I have the cord anchored? I think I did it like that. Yeah, no, I didn't. Should have paid attention. Should have taken a picture. I think on the kit it has you plug this in before you slide it in, so I'm going to assume that it would be like this. Yeah, that should work. Right, it's plugged in, it's out of the way. It's not really pinching the wire. You don't need, Adam, you had LASIK? Okay, so that should work. Oh, just for grins, let's put the magnet back in. Put the keyboard on. Okay. I believe you can start these up without the battery. Let's see what happens. We got music. Oh yeah, this has got the screen problem where the there it goes. The hinge is impinging on the backlight cable, and you really have to tear these things down to completely torn down to replace that. Plus I'd have to find a cable somewhere, so I'm just going to live with it having to position the screen. It's good enough. Yeah, so you did one eye and the other one's good enough for close up. That's good. Kind of like my contact solution. So it's booting. That's a good sign, right? I didn't look up to see what kind of error you would get for bad memory. I did not download Snooper. So we're just going to go check about this computer. All right, 384 meg. So it had 256. Now it's got 384. I'm going to say the memory's good. I can run diagnostic. Network time. Oh, yeah. I forgot I got network time set up and I don't have it on the network right now. But it looks good. Cool. That should help with speed. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing? Yes, it lives. I didn't kill it. Yay! It's not a battery that I'm trying to rebuild. Of course, the drive comes later, right? All right, so RAM upgrade, good. Shut down. Unplug. Now for the long drawn out haul. Taking this sucker all the way apart so that you can put a drive in. Who was the engineer that decided this was not a user serviceable part? Because I'd like to have words with him. My PowerBook 180C is just as bad. You have to take it halfway apart to be able to squeeze the drive out. The 520C is dead simple. Take keyboard off, unscrew something over here, pull out the drive. I used to leave it unscrewed and the keyboard unscrewed in from the bottom so that I could flip it up and change SCSI or SD cards when I felt like it, because I had a SCSI blue SCSI in it. But all right, so I'm going to try to do this without referring to the iFIXIT guide. So So we're going to take this off. I'm going to take the airport card out. First set of screws. I bet you I'm going to have to bring up the iFIXIT guide. There's just no way I'm going to remember all this, even though it's the third time. The first two times were more like a month ago. So, all right. Don't lose the screws. So they will go in the square there. Let's get the magnet out of there. That plate's out. Now we can disconnect the keyboard. And this has got, well, get your glasses back on, Eric, so you can see what the heck you're doing. This isn't too bad of a connector. Let's get the parts out of the way. Yeah, they want you to grasp it by the cable closest to the connector as you can, if I remember the iFIXIT. These keys really like to come off this keyboard. And I've heard other people complain about these keyboards smelling like ripe feet or something. It must be whatever glue adhesive they use between the layers, maybe. This one doesn't, well, it smells just a little bit. It's not really bad. And I did clean it up with some IPA and stuff, but it does have a bit of a bad electrical burn smell, maybe. I don't know, something like that. It's not pleasant. Talking about LASIK. Yeah, I've decided I'm never going to do anything like that. This is not worth it. I've got too many issues as it is. I don't need to add another one. Can you hear the ladder on the side of the roof? So I apologize for the extra noise. Okay. Well, you can see where I added some tape here because, you know, there was supposed to be tape covering that. This isn't as sticky as it was, so I thought I'd just nail it down. Alright, so I believe I need to take this screw out. I'm going to bring the iFIXIT guide up. Heck with it. I don't want to mess with it. iBook G3 iFIXIT. I might as well at least follow it in the order that they have, even though there was enough variation in how these were built that the directions are not quite right. But I like this. Difficulty, difficult. 44 steps, 1 to 2 hours. I did do it quicker the second time around. Alright, got the battery out, the keyboard's off, the airport card's out, the 2 screws and the shield is lifted out. I've got the keyboard out. Okay, I went ahead and took care of the magnet because I don't want to lose that. It wants me to flip it over now. Oh, let me get my, since I spent all that time sanding this smooth and then polishing it, I really don't want to scratch it up any more than I have to. So I have a very ugly towel from the 70s, believe it or not, that's been stained and all sorts of stuff. So it doesn't have, I don't know, what is it on Ron's? Mushrooms? Dead Pokemon? Something like that. I don't know. Flowers of some kind. They look like cauliflower. Anyway, next thing to do is to remove the feet. I kind of like the design of these feet, but it seems like it's a little too complicated, and that these could get lost as they dry out and become less flexible. They're not going to grip into the little sockets. But, you know, it's like, I don't know if they were trying to solve particular problems with the earlier designs, or if it was just, I'm going to design a new one. Oh, come on. Get out of there. Because I'm an engineer and I need to do it differently because, you know, people didn't solve the problem the right way the first time. So I'm going to do it a new way. Anyway. So we will put all the parts to the feet up there. Anyway, all right, so the feet are out. And now we got to remove these screws. The iFIXIT guide is incorrect on screw sizes in a couple of places, but I don't think it's really their fault. I think it has to do with there's several different manufacturers, or you know, they, I don't know, use different parts occasionally. I think the size of the screw was probably correct 99% of the time, but there was one place where it was different. Okay, so I got the feet off. Yeah, pry the metal rings. And then the 3 back screws. So I'm going to check on the chat. No one needs more than 640K. Yeah. Bill Gates. 8088. You may already know this, but there are people... Oh, LASIK, yeah. More LASIK. Would that line of laptops be a good candidate for an updated keyboard? Yeah. Yeah, comment. If it ain't broke, don't fix it till it is. Hey, Justin. Glad you could join. So you get to experience the pain of opening an iBook. We're already on step 13 of 44. So, all right. This is where I need a different tip. And I think it's supposed to be a hex screw, but they, you know, iFIXIT says you could use the security or the torque screws on it. I didn't have any trouble, so. So that's one. And this is one of those areas where you have to watch the length because the middle screw is much shorter. Trying to get the screw off the platter here. That middle screw is definitely much shorter than the edge screw. You don't want to try to stick one of the long screws in there. I'm sure that would be bad. I don't know what it would penetrate, but it wouldn't be good. Okay. So we did those 3 screws. Then the 2 screws that are holding the power adapter in. 7th level of hell. This is more purgatory. I don't know if it'd be the 7th level. I don't remember Dante's Inferno that well to be... I took my glasses off again. Dante's Inferno that well to remember what the 7th level was. Maybe this is the level where marketing people... I don't know if... there was a modern adaptation of Dante's Inferno by... was it Jerry Pernelli? I can't remember. One of the science fiction authors wrote it. It's actually very entertaining. So it's like they wrong screw. They modified some of the levels of hell, and one of them had like marketers and Wall Street traders or something on it. I can't remember, but it's pretty entertaining. The guy that makes his way through to leave ends up helping Mussolini climb up Satan and get to purgatory. Yeah, I think I've got the factory service manual for this. I liked the iFIXIT thing because of the photographs, and it was close enough. But thank you. Alright, so those two screws are out. Okay, this is where you bend the frame out of shape so that you can start getting it off. So you have to take these two sides and bend them in so that you can lift it up slightly. See? And then on the back here, they want you to use a slim screwdriver to expand it. What did I use? I think I used one of these doohickeys so that you can lift it off of the bumps that hold it. Oh yeah, hotel Wi-Fi is terrible. We're thinking about changing from AT&T to Verizon. My daughter is a CMU grad, and her plan is a hell of a lot better than ours, and we can get a couple of she can have 3 lines. So we're thinking about joining hers, and she has completely unlimited data with her plan. So I don't know if they slow it down a little bit when you get towards the the maximum or something, but she's never experienced any issues. I would use a hotspot if you could, and give up on the hotel Wi-Fi. Sometimes you don't have a choice. But I have never once been in a hotel that had decent Wi-Fi. And then you go to a convention center where everybody and their sister is using the Wi-Fi, and you try to stream something like I'd love to do some live streaming from VCF Midwest, but who knows what it's going to be like. So, okay, there are several little things that attach this. There's one right around the corner, of course, to make it even worse. So you gotta and of course I went to all this trouble to polish the plastic on this. The last thing I want to do is ding it so that I have to polish it out again. Come on. Why, Apple? Why? I know they wanted a nice clean edge and not 300 screws, but come on. I'd rather take a series of screws out around it. Okay. The service manual says that you do not need to pop these. You should just be able to lift it up. No, you need to take the stress off of those too. Okay. Or at least the first time I did it, I didn't want to just lift this up, because when I did it with the iMac, I of course broke all of the half of the tabs on it. So I suggest releasing this one too. Don't ask why, ask why not. Yeah. So that we could have fun doing this, right? Because if it were easy, anybody would do it. I'd love to take one of these to the Genius Bar sometime and just say, I need some help fixing this. Just so that they can shake their head. I think I heard a story about somebody doing that with like a Mac Plus or something, or an SE, and they ended up just hanging out looking at it. It was fine, but the the guys at the Wizards Bar, is that what we call it? Were really intrigued to take a look at a classic Mac. AT&T sucks. Yes, I agree. They all slow down at a certain point. I wouldn't doubt it. She hasn't run into it yet, but maybe she's not hitting the limit. She streams a lot using her phone. We're all copper lines. I stream on my iPhone. Yeah. Ooh, copper. So the best you can do is DSL, and you're too far from the CO for it to really be any good. That's a shame. I wish I could get optical. In fact, I'm in an apartment right now for various reasons, but we might move out of where we're at some point, and where we go is going to be highly influenced by whether or not we can get optical, All right. Let my frame free. There we go. All right. Yay! I didn't break anything. Third time's a charm. T-Mobile slows me down at 1 terabyte. Yeah. A cup and a string. Just pull harder on the string, right? You could hit higher frequencies that way. Verizon is supposed to be available in my area, but those who... Yeah, I've got AT&T and Verizon available in my area. 2 bars at best. We have to use our Wi-Fi to assist our phones. All right. Unfortunately, Comcast is the only carrier that I have available to me, but it's not totally terrible. They just have too many outages. So what's next here? Yeah, did that. I skipped several steps because I've done them. Oh yeah. These little suckers are springs that help push the battery up, and they have grease on them. Well, these used to have grease on them. Anyway, got to take those out. And then we start with the multicolored map of screws. So iFIXIT does have a screw guide that you can print out and then use as a map for the screws. There are so many differences in these things that their screw guide is screwed, to be honest. There's just nothing that they can do to make it perfect. I tried to use it the first time. I ended up just writing notes on it. So what I'm doing now, if I can do this without disturbing them, is just keeping track of them in the order that I do it so I can reverse the order. So nobody disturb the tray. Like hit it and make it all go up in the air. That would be bad. All right. So we're back to Phillips screws again. Remove the 4 screws. This is where it deviates. And they actually do indicate that where it could deviate, but I found one of their screw descriptions to be way off. So this one is supposed to 3 millimeters Phillips. And it is. I measured it last time. As well as this one. So those two. There may or may not be a screw here. On the iFIXIT guide it says sometimes there's a screw coming from the other direction. In this one there is a screw there doing that. This is where the description's off. They describe this screw as a 14.2 millimeter Phillips, and it is not. It is, let me get my handy dandy thing here. Get this without dropping it. .8 or 5.6, depending on whether you. I think they subtract the head thickness from it. It is not 14.2. The greasy spring wins the race. I guess some people have had trouble when they put those screws back in and then they put the cover on. If they're not lined up right, you can break them pretty easily. 203 up and 32 down. Don't you mean the other way? 203 down and 32 up? Because normally it's in that direction. Yeah, wait, reverse that. Okay, you got it. You remember when they talked about the internet and it was supposed to be symmetrical, not asymmetrical? Or, you know, so we could host our own servers? Comcast or CenturyLink. Yeah. I have the best internet. I have Xfinity. Yeah, so do I, Garth. It's craptastic. You know, it's bad all over the place unless you happen to be one of the lucky people with municipal optical or something like that. The Board of Water and Light in Lansing runs an optical fiber loop, and you can get on it. And it's great. It's a municipality that's running it. It's not the cheapest thing you can get, but it's very reliable. Or at least you used to be able to get on it. I don't know if they legislated that out of existence. All right, so what's next? We got those 3 screws out. Now, oh, the screws on the DVD drive. What a royal pain in the ass. Let me get my drive extraction tool here. What did I do with it? Where's the damn paper clip? Okay. Don't know where the paper clip is. This'll work. Well, it should work. No, it doesn't. All right. I know it's around here somewhere. I have specialist tools for these things. Do I have another tool I could use? Does this have a pointy end on it? Nope. I think that's too thick. Yep, that's not thin enough. I will figure it out shortly. Could have swore I used these last time. Oh, I know what I did. Toolkit. Now, why didn't I put the paper clip in here? Maybe I did, and I just don't know where it is. There we go. All right. My apologies for the noise there. Okay. So there's two screws holding this in. One of them's fairly easy to get to. It's right over here. You know, there's a screw there. You just have to slide this out of the way. The other one is underneath the drive. So you have to pull it all the way out and then come in at an angle to get this screw out. The other thing I noticed is they're not the same length. And the iFIXIT guide does not tell you which length is which. So I got lucky the first time and put the right length back in the right spot. So there is also a magnet on the plate there, and if you don't hold on to the screw while you're taking it out, it will go to the magnet and make it a little difficult to get. So I can't use this screwdriver to do this. It's got too big a shaft. This is where size matters, meaning smaller is better. Catch up on the chat here. Yes, my favorite tool is Captain tape. I got several. I use it a lot. Don't like burning things up, for one. And this actually has tape on it in those positions in the thing, so I taped it back. You know, the tape that they had on there was pretty poor after what, 30 years, 20 years. That's what she said. Yeah. I have a bunch of blue SCSI HDA images on my Mac desktop, and I'm not sure what is on. I've got them organized by ones that I use on each type of Mac. You know, so the 520C has a 7.6, yeah, 7.6.1, because I'm pushing it to the limits. But I also have one for my Performa, and I'm actually using the Performa one on Basilisk 2, and it comes up and complains every time I boot because I think I've got RAM doubler running on it, and you know, you can't do that in Basilisk. So I really do need to get my images organized. But what we need is somebody to build an image builder so that you can pick from a bunch of options and have it just build an image for you. That would be kind of neat, a tool like that. Okay, so put your damn glasses back on, Eric. I believe I need to get to the screw this way. Yes. And then get it loose. Get the tweezers under it. Oh, come on. And pull it out. Because if you just unscrew it and let it go, it'll jump over to where the magnet is, and then you got to deal with that. Fortunately, it's not too far away. All right, so those screws are out. What is next? Oh, In the iFIXIT guide, step 25 is to remove the magnet over the keyboard. You do it as soon as you take the keyboard off. Now we take off the screws on the other side. I just closed that. I shouldn't have. I'll have to open it again. Okay. So first thing we do is the Phillips screw that goes under the magnet. Oh, come on. There we go. And then we do the 3 6mm Phillips in plastic depressions. So that would be these. Are we having fun yet? We're like halfway to the hard drive. Here's the third one. Apple really didn't want you messing around with this laptop. Okay. Then I believe you have to loosen. Oh, they want you to remove that tape. Okay. And then they want you to remove the cable from the touchpad. Okay. When I first got this, it was in a box where it rattled around. They did a really poor job of packing it. Fortunately, it survived. But this cable got loose, so the touchpad was working intermittently. So that was the reason why I took it apart the first time. And then I got ambitious, and I thought, well, maybe I could reseat the backlight cable so that it's no longer acting up, and went, oh God, no, I'm not taking it apart that much. And then the hard drive died. So then I had to open it up again so I could replace the spinny drive with another spinny drive I had. Anyway. Oh, here's another stretching exercise that you have to do to get the case off. So now we're going to take apparently it's time for my meds. Sorry about that. I lost one of the cameras. So I'm going to have to reconnect to it. This is why I need an old iPhone. Really? Did I completely lose it? OBS. You were so silly. Why did you do that? Really? Did we change IP addresses or something? It should be transmitting. How annoying. Oh. Restart droid cam. Just stop the app entirely and start it all over again. Maybe that'll work. And it's still not working. Yeah. Well, you know what we're going to do? Screw droid cam. There we go. We'll just do that. It'll work for now. Yeah, and you had the additional benefit of not having to look at my ugly mug. So it's a win-win. All right. So the next thing you have to do, see if I can get this over here so you can see it. You have to stretch the frame around the power connector. So essentially, you get your spludger in there and bend the crap out of the plastic like you're going to break it so that you can slide it over the end of the power connector like that without breaking anything. I almost did because I had too much pressure on it. Anyway, so that's off. So now you can see what's next. Oh, okay. You have to take off the upper case, and there's a couple of cables attached. So you need to be careful not to pull on those cables because they're rather thin and they quite easily... Oh, come on, what are you hung up on here? There we go. Here. All right. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. We're getting close to the drive. So, anyway, if you look down in there, there's a cable right there, and there's another one over here. This one has to be disconnected, and they don't give you enough lead to actually get everything out of the way. So you need to take a tool and sneak in there. And lift up that connector. Come on. Because you don't want to yank the wires out. That's not cutting it. There we go. All right. So release the cable. Stay. Now we have to pull the see the white and blue cable that I pulled off was for, it's the power cable from the logic board. Anyway, there's another red and black speaker cable that needs to be moved. Just smack it on the table, Eric. Yeah. You could do that once, maybe. That works. Is anyone we know planning to stream tomorrow? Well, if this takes forever, I might do a second half tomorrow. Oh. Why didn't you take out the HDD the easier way? No, there isn't an easier way. As far as I know, this is the easiest way. You have to take the shield off to get to the drive. There is no easy way. It's an iBook. What, you want easy? Buy a PC. Because then when it breaks, you just throw it away. You don't fix it. Right? Okay. And again, you don't want to lift the sucker out with the wires because you're likely to pull the wires out. But it does help if you put a little bit of tension on them so that you can release it. There we go. Voila! The touchpad is now released from its prison. Set that aside. So what step are we on in iFIXIT? That was step 33. Oh yeah, the magnet. I should show you that. Over here. I have this magnet glued here. That's what will capture your screw when you're taking out the optical drive screws if you're not careful. At least it's captured so it's not rolling around, right? Okay, now the top shield. So we're down to the top shield. And there are 1, 7, 8, 10, 14. There's at least 14 screws that you have to remove for this. Alright, so number 1 is a 2.5 millimeter Phillips screw, and it is where? Right here. Very specific. So that screw goes there. Then there are 6 3.5 millimeter Phillips screws, and they are here and here, 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 here. So we have to do those. All of this to get the damn hard drive out. I hope this mSATA thing works. And then this one. And this one. And then that one. And this one. There is one 4.5 millimeter Phillips screw, the sleep light with a small shaft. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Right here. Then there are two 4.5 millimeter Phillips with larger shafts, and that is this one. So we're getting close to the hard drive. Oops. Go over there. And this one. And 4 5 millimeter Phillips screws. Now, somebody had obviously been into this machine before, because, as you can see, they broke off part of the shield hardware. And I have to believe this deep in, it was some Apple repair center person that did it. I guess the 800 megahertz dual USB one came with a 30 gigabyte drive. At first I thought somebody had upgraded the drive, so I'm not really sure why somebody was in it. Where was I at here? You know, maybe the drive failed and they replaced it. So it sure as heck was failing when I got it. And then this one. Alright. If a screw is inserted in the left hole, the 14.2 millimeter screw in step 24 cannot be inserted to hold the top case down. Alright. They're talking about a screw that's not identified on here. Anyway, that's all the screws. So I'll catch up with the comments. You need to mod that RF shield so next time you don't have to remove it to take the hard drive out. Like cut it or something so that I could just remove the screws for here. I mean, you're almost there. Where else would you mod it? I suppose you could do something at the end. I don't know. I'll just leave it stock. Well, as close to stock as I can. Anyway. So that's some of the original Captain tape. This is my contribution. You know, I really don't intend to take this thing apart again. Yeah, that's right. You did do something to the clamshell. Or was it? Yeah, Dave. You did something to your clamshell so that you could easily get into it. Is that possible, the iBook? I don't know. Maybe I'd, if I got another iBook to experiment with. But I kind of like the idea of leaving them as close to original as possible, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Anyway, so we should be able to take the RF shield off now. Yeah, so remove the tape is step 36. Step 37 is to remove the shield. The shield tends to get hung up here. See? So you just grab your handy dandy whatever tool and give it a little lift. Shield comes right off. Now we have shield. I noticed on the shield that there were fingerprints, and I think the acid from the from whoever had worked on this probably etched it because it doesn't buff out. So I'm assuming that that's corrosion on this. I assume, well, is it aluminum? I guess it would be aluminum. Or is it stainless steel? It feels like aluminum. Whatever it is, it's flimsy. And it's got fingerprints on it I can't remove. Because we all want to make it as clean as possible, like no human has touched anything, right? Alright, we're finally to the drive. So the next step is to remove the drive cable, and they give you this handy little plastic, it looks like it's too flimsy to work, and you pull up on it so that you can evenly pull out the cable. It actually works pretty well. I'm surprised how strong it is. And then you need to remove the drive. Now this cable handles both the CD and the hard drive, so it's a rather complex cable. I can't imagine replacing this. This is the first time I've seen a crease in a cable like this. It scares the bejeebus out of me. Why would they crease a but anyway, they did. I guess it was just designed that way. So you need to get this out of the way. We don't have to unplug it, we just need it out of the way. And then you need to lift out the drive with its rails. Now you can remove the drive connector. So gently flip the drive over, grasp the thing, and try to put pressure on it without breaking anything. Okay, so orientation of drive goes this way. The rails go off like this. Okay. You got to remove these screws. Mounting posts, I guess. See ya, Garth. Thanks again for the memory upgrade. I really do appreciate it. I mean, HyperCard already flies on this thing because it's It's like the way past, you know, running on OS 9 with that much memory is far in excess of what you need for HyperCard. It's nice. Yeah, I had Middle Eastern carryout for dinner tonight from Woody's Oasis. If you're ever in East Lansing, Michigan, visit Woody's Oasis. It's actually pretty darn good. Okay, drives out. So, I guess I should open up this package. Now, I understand some people said that they had to shave off some of the edges on this enclosure for it to fit properly. I'm kind of hoping we don't have to do that. I mean, a 2.5 drive is a 2.5 drive, right? Well, that's nice. They covered up that with tape so it won't short out. How do you open? Very carefully. There we go. Oh, and it comes with screws inside the enclosure. So this is our drive controller, and very tiny screws, and no instructions. So I guess you're supposed to know what you're doing because it's a professional connector and cable and adapter. So only professionals should use it. Anyway. Oh, yes, my solid state drive. So I guess you slide it in there, put this on here and secure it with the screws. And Bob's your uncle. So let's get this out. Now, the drive that I bought, the mSATA drive board I bought, also comes with tiny screws, is not the best you can get, but from what I understand it works with this arrangement and it's fast enough. So it's a Dogfish technology one. And underneath the tape here, this is a 16 gig model, because 16 gig is, you know, more than enough. It's only got one chip, so I assume it comes in 32, 64, you know, 220, 221, whatever you need. So that goes like that, and then you screw it down. So the screws that came with the that must be used to screw it down. I suppose this came with screws to screw it down too, but let's use the ones that came with the drive. Okay. Tweezers. Yeah, it's Phillips. That's what I get for using a cheap-ass tool. It doesn't really hold on to it. They don't lock in place. Now, there was no torque standards that were given for this. I assume you just do it. You don't really reef on it. You just get it kind of slightly more than finger tight, I guess. You just don't want it moving. Okay. So that's done. Four tiny, tiny screws. Not really giving myself enough space to work here. There's 3 tiny screws and 4 tiny screws. So I'm going to assume those tiny screws are the tiny screws I want. Very tiny screws. This must be really exciting to watch. So obviously, where did I put? Here it is. I doubt this Phillips head's going to fit. Yeah, it does. I guess it's just pointy enough. German torque setting. Guten tight. Ja, guten tight. I actually have German heritage. My great grandparents immigrated from 15 miles outside of Berlin, is all I know, to the Wisconsin Territory in 1830. And then their son moved to the southern states, and this is one of the connections I have. It's all my mother's side, where he was an overseer on a plantation, so that can't have been a very pleasant, maybe he wasn't a very pleasant person, but he was part of that whole thing. And his name was Cicero Jackson. What was the German name, family name? Guftesten or something like that? I can't remember now. Anyway, and then one of his children, children's children, was a oversaw work gangs on railroads. So it was part of the prison thing. So he was overseeing chain gangs. Yeah, my family's got kind of a checkered history. Anyway, eventually, my mother, who lived in Memphis, she was a city girl, met my father when he was home on leave with his best friend from in the service, who had the same last name because they were in line together a lot, I guess, next to each other. And 2 weeks after he met my mother, who was my father's friend's sister, they were married. And then he went back to in the service while she waited for him to get out, and then immediately moved up to Michigan and lived with my grandparents. And talk about a totally different environment. So anyway, this is sealed up. Hopefully it will just work. It needs to have the posts on it. So let's get those in. But I've got German and Dutch and Scottish and Irish and probably Viking if you follow the genetics. I'm a mongrel. Both sides of my father's side of the family show up around 1795 is as far back as I've been able to go, and my mother's side of the family, just about the same time. There was parents that were living in, I think, North Carolina. I don't recall. Could have been South Carolina. Before the United States formed, and one of their children married in 1814, and that's the record I have. Haven't been able to jump across the pond yet. It's going to require going to those localities and digging through, like parish records and tax records and stuff like that you just can't get online. So that's it. That's the Scottish heritage from the Carolinas was McQueen, and the anglicized version of McQueen. It's not the McQueen McQueen. The anglicized version of it reads like McEwen, if you bastardize it and just sound it out. And McEwen, or that McQueen, appears on the Isle of Skye as a member of Clan Donald, Donald of Slate, which is the southern part of the Isle of Skye, one of the 4 MacDonald clans. And that's the tartan I wear. It's all paternal. It's not, or rather, it's maternal heritage, not paternal. The paternal side is all German and Irish. But you know what? I don't care, and nobody else does. There's no clan police that are going to come find you and take away your tartan. So, see if the ribbon cable fits in it first. That's a good point. That might be where people had to shave the sides of this or something to get it to fit. So let's do that. Tiny connectors. Bane of my existence. One of these days I'm going to get a big magnifier. I am putting this on the right way, so that's good. That's where... You know what? I do believe you're right. Because the two outside pins, only one set goes in. That's how you identify whether it's the first drive, the master drive or slave, is jump ring that pin probably, which means that it needs to slide over a little bit, and this part of the plastic case is impeding it. So I'm going to have to whittle that off. Now the smart thing to do is to take the board off so that you don't accidentally mess anything up, right? So should I be smart, or should I just get an X-Acto knife out and cut it? I'm just going to get an X-Acto knife out and cut it because I like to live dangerously. Let me get my tools. You know, if I take it easy, should be able to shave it off. Where are you? I don't really want to dig a Dremel out or something like that. Now you know, yeah, it's, let me type it in the chat here. So, this is, McQueen was this is how they spelled it through, the 1850s on, because it got changed again. And that's how it was spelled around 1815, 1814 when they did the marriage and the census, and then it flipped somewhere in the 1850s or maybe even the 1830s. I can't remember. They started spelling it McQueen. That particular spelling of McQueen only shows up on the Isle of Skye, and there's a single reference for Scottish, names where there's a single paragraph, or rather there's a single paragraph, a couple of sentences where they say, quite frequently, this anglicized spelling of McQueen is mistaken for the McQueens that were in other parts of Scotland. So I'm going to go on that as the reference. Until I can actually do further research, that's all I've got to go on. Hey, Steve. So we're going to now trim some of the plastic off this drive because it doesn't fit in the enclosure. It's got to shift over a little bit. So of course, instead of playing it safe and taking the board out, I'm going to go ahead and shave it while it's in because I live dangerously. Let me make sure I'm shaving the right thing. So you try to plug it in here. It won't fit because this is... Hopefully you can... I'm going to have to take it out. The board's kind of in the way. Alright, this is what I get for not checking first. Whatever. We'll do it the right way. It helps if you have the right driver. So, Steve, you missed all the fun of watching me disassemble the damn thing. Because that was really fun. Everybody had a great time watching me do that. The dreaded iBook pull apart to change a hard drive. Yeah, it's definitely not a consumer serviceable laptop, that's for sure. And this is the third time that I've been into it this far. This better well damn work. And Garth was nice enough to send me a memory upgrade, so there's that. Okay, can I slide this out with the posts in? Probably not. Let's see. Well, maybe I can. Yo, black stick. Alright, so I can get this off. So here's our wonderful mSATA and board. I'm running out of space to set things down. Oh, what I would give for a real bench and not using my desk. Alright, so you need to shave that one. Probably should just go ahead and shave them both. Oh, this is high quality ABS. Pray I don't have to alter you further. You got 440 of these iBooks from a school. And my tech and I made a couple of templates to place all the screws on. Yeah, the iFIXIT guide has a template, but it's not very good. And there are some variants in the manufacture of these, so... But did you actually have to mess around with all 440 of them? Yeah, I'm cutting both sides. Because nobody's going to look at this and see this plastic, and who cares? The opening needs to be bigger. So I am going to be retentive about it and make them the same width. Because that's the way I am. Maybe. And I'm trying to do it straight up and down as best I can too. Why do I care? Okay, I could go a little more. I mean, I'll be the one that knows, well, and anyone who watches this stream, what it looks like on the inside after I'm done, right? I'll need the room. Okay. That's right. Didn't you do this mod using this very same case? Let's see if I can stab myself with this X-Acto knife. Well, that looks pretty good. That's fairly even. Let's see if it's enough. I'll do some sharps management here. It helps if you use the right end. Errors on my clamshell. Does anyone here know the difference between a 16-pin dip, 4164, and an 18-pin dip counterpart? 2 pins? I don't know. No, I don't know the difference. Sounds like jelly bean logic. Is Joe on? So let's put this back in here without screwing it down. Come on. You can get in there. Now that's much wider. Let's see if it will. Hopefully it's not going to run into the edges of the card, because then what am I going to do? Cut the metal of the card? Pray not. And it does run into, you can see it right here, it runs into the corner. So, do I have to shave down the edge of the connector? I don't like that. Am I gonna have to, all right, hive mind. Do I somehow worry off part of the edge next to the pins here? Or do I try to shave off the corner of this connector so that it can get past the edge of the board? Because I have zero experience with this. I mean, on the board here, we're just talking about some fiberglass, right? It's not near a trace or anything. Is there any reason why I couldn't just snip off those edges? Dave, help me. Shaving off the PCB shouldn't hurt it. And that's what I'd hate to mess around with the ribbon, because I got a feeling that I would mess it up. But it may be hard to cut. Shave the board. All right. Yeah. What's going to be the... I could use a file, but then I'm going to have to worry about shavings. Yeah, I don't want to mess with a connector. I guarantee I'd mess it up somehow. Right? Yeah, just take a soldering iron and, worry down that corner, right? Yeah. Dave, would you recommend trying to use snips to do it? Because I could. Or would you use a file? Small file oriented horizontally. Use wire cutters. I'm going to do the wire cutters first. Let me see if I got something I can get in there that's not going to ruin it. Oh. Sorry about all the noise. My tools are kind of scattered. I've got bins full of guitar making tools. That's not gonna work. These might work. Not sure how hard they are. And then I've got other bins with other woodworking tools, and I've got... You had to do that on your clamshell? Yeah. Okay. Oh wow, that really breaks easily. Okay, so it's not as hard as I thought it was. I mean, it's just fiberglass, right? Sorry, I was trying to hold this so you guys could see what I was doing, but I think I need to just move it closer to my body and do it. Okay. I think that probably is going to be sufficient. Well, let's give it a try and see. Yay! And there was much rejoicing. Let's hope I didn't screw up the board. I don't think so. It wasn't anywhere near anything. If you look at it, I don't know if you can see it. There you go. It's kind of in focus. Anyway, so let's get this screwed back together. You know, I was expecting to have to do something with the enclosure. I wasn't expecting to have to screw around with the board itself. So, but hey, you know, these parts were actually pretty cheap as far as drives go. So, you know, if I totally bork one up, it's not a disaster. I'll just buy another one. Where did I put my screwdriver? Here it is. But I would really like to not have to take apart the iBook again to put another one in. Because that's just a lot of work. Floppy with notches made with a hole cutter, yeah. It's not the prettiest thing, that's for sure. Hey, Patrick. Good evening. You missed all the fun of taking it apart, but you can stay for putting it back together and just imagine what it was like to take it apart. Okay, so to recap, we took out a gazillion screws. They're all in here. We took the hard drive out. So this is my 20 gig replacement drive that replaced the 30 gig drive that puked after about the fourth boot when I got this thing. I didn't even have a chance to really look at the files that were on the drive. It looked like it was last used in maybe 2013. I don't know. Anyway, and it was used by a church or somebody who worked at a church because they had parish records on it and stuff. But anyway, all right. So this goes like that. Let's hope the case actually fits. Yeah, it looks like it'll fit. So get the rails back on. Once use scissors to notch 5 1/4 inch floppy. Yeah, I can remember doing that to so you could write both sides. Take it apart, stringing all the screws across your desk. Wait a year. No. I would just throw it away if I waited a year. There ain't no way I'm gonna do that. Homie, don't play that. All right. It fits. Oh. Okay. What's next? Probably putting the shield back on, right? So we did step 42, 43, 44. And now we reversed ourselves. We're back at step 38, 37. Put the shield on. Okay, everybody take a good look. Shield. Here's our lovely shield with the sheared off connector on it, or thing that some poor slob did when he was in here before. I don't know how you accidentally shear off something like that, but I guess he was a little aggressive with the screwdriver. Well, it is pretty thin stuff, so anyway, I've been there. How many tabs have I broken off on iMacs? Well, I only have one iMac, but I've broken half the tabs off of it. So the tape goes back on. So we'll kind of need to feel this and make sure it's sitting in the right spot. And it is. So we will retape it. Is the tape sticky enough? Oh, I've got some thin, Captain. Where did I put it? It's not there. Is it in this bin? No. Perhaps it's in this bin. Yes, it is in this bin. Boy. Skinny roll. So you might ask why I have a skinny roll of this stuff. It's because I ordered it and went, oh, that's skinny. And then ordered the other roll. But I guess it comes in handy for some things. So. Okay, so it doesn't look like the original. Who cares? That's not good enough. How's this one? Yeah, it's pretty weak. I imagine they make tape dispensers for this stuff. Be a lot easier than what I'm doing here. How do you test this thing without putting it all back together? I guess you could wire up the keyboard. That seems kind of precarious. Well, it probably is, but it does seem to hold the shield down a little better. Anyway, it's there. Just place the keyboard on for a quick test. Okay. Oh, this is one of those. Oh, okay. I'm not lining it up right. There we go. Okay, the keyboard's on. So you're saying I should be able to just start it up this way? Jump, just the keyboard, jump the power pin if needed. You're going to have to tell me where that is. But, oh, it would be where the power button. Let me think about it. Okay. So the power button, it's the blue and white cable that was removed from the top. So you're saying you would just jump or short those two pins? Okay. Yeah, I'm catching up with you guys on the chat, so it's a good thing I didn't go too much further. Uppercase Eric, do a quick test. Yes, Dave. He's not listening. I am now, and it's too bad we don't have multi-person audio chat. Jump, just the keyboard. Jump the power pin if needed. It'll be fine, probably. I love your optimism, Steve. You had 444 of them, or 440 of them. So yeah, you had shortcuts, I'm sure. All right, so I'll give it a go. That antenna is not going to bother anything. It's just an antenna. Right, it can just sit over there. That's not conductive. All right, I will plug it in. He said nervously. I got green power. It's the man, the myth, the legend. I would say you are a retro techie. All right, so now I have to short those two pins, just double checking, right? Because that's what that button is doing, is closing contact. Well, is there any reason why I couldn't just plug in this button? Why not? I feel a little bit better about doing it that way. You know, it's the way Apple intended it, right? Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to get that back in. Unplug the power. There. Now I can use the proper power button. Right? Okay. I give it the juice. I get noises. Of course, this has got the flaky screen problem, so. Oh, okay. Oh, come on. I got a flash of it looking for a drive. Come on, screen. Of course, it would act up while I got a part. Where's my flashlight? Oh yeah, cell phone. Okay, I've gotten the question mark folder flippy thing. So yes, it appears to be functioning. That's what I expected. It's kind of convenient having the little Apple thing in the back. The translucent one, you can actually shine light through it. I guess I learned a new trick. Yeah, you know, I was going to tear into it and do something with the backlight cable until I read the instructions for disassembling the thing completely and went, I'll live with having to reposition the screen until it goes out. Then that'll be the fourth time I go into it. All right, so I'm going to say it probably is ready to go back together then. So let me get this. You have 4 cables on hand and they're questionable? I wouldn't doubt it. Do not like taking this keyboard off. All right. Where were we? I have to screw down the shield. So I need to look at my thing here. Oh yeah. Man, why are these things so tedious? Okay. 4 or 5 millimeter Phillips. Put your damn glasses back on. Excuse me. That's one of them. That's another one. Working on an iBook is like watching paint dry. No, that's not true because applying paint is a lot easier. Oh, come on. You might wonder why I'm bothering to put this little broken off piece of metal on. I assume it's because it sets the correct height for the screw. Where's the other one go? We're working on the blue ones. There. Oh, that's not the right spot. It goes here. There. Up there. Now I just have to put back the 675 screws. Man, I can't imagine working on 440 of these things. Whatever were you doing? Are you sure a system will format this disk? I have no idea. Dave, have you done this? You should put an OS on it before putting it back together. Now I was going to boot from a USB and then do it because that's how I got OS 9 on here. So can I initialize this thing doing that? That's the question. Oh, you're going to make me plug this keyboard back in. Fair enough. Turn the keyboard the right way around, Eric. Yeah, it'd be a real bummer to get it together and find out that I can't get it to initialize the disk, wouldn't it? Okay, keyboard's in. Hopefully I can get it in a position where I can see the screen. Okay, make sure. No, I did not leave any tools sitting on top of it. Yeah, it does. It's a little flaky though. I couldn't get it to. There, I got the screen, so it's lit. If I burned a CD, it wouldn't mount it. It will do a a commercial one. Not a CDR, just a regular CD. I've got a couple of them here from the 550. So I was able to get Oregon Trails CD to boot, or to work. Okay, I'm getting the flashing thing, flashing folder of death. Where did I drop my USB drive? It's around here somewhere. Where did I put it? I think I had to go into the open firmware to get it to boot. Crap, what the hell? Oh, is it under here? Ah, here it is. So, pray that it just boots. Yeah, of course the screen's flaking out. Damn it. Oh, okay, it's booting off the USB. Just got to get the backlight to work on this. There we go. Okay. It's starting up 9.2. Very slowly. USB 1, right? So hopefully I've got enough on here to be able to initialize it. Okay, I've got my crazy screen with the 1/4 size display, and because it doesn't have the right drivers installed. Still booting. You know, I've never initialized a disk other than a floppy on a Mac, and I think the last time I initialized a disk was in 1988. So, okay, I have OS 9 up and running. Of course, I don't have a mouse. See if I can get a USB mouse to work. Give me a second. Okay, this happened to me last time. Just hot plugging it. Oh, no, it's working now. I think this USB port might be a little loose, or there's something wrong with the mouse USB port. Okay, I got a mouse. So, it's not asking me to initialize a disk, though. So that doesn't sound good. Let's see. I think I've got this. Do I have the SCSI tools on here? Or not SCSI tools, but you know. What? Anybody have any suggestions for how to look to see if it even sees the drive? I should have looked all this stuff up before I started working on it, but I didn't. What, Apple System Profiler? Would that tell me anything? Okay. IDE 0, hard drive, no volumes mounted. Internal ATA 2. That sounds like it recognizes it has a hard drive. Disk utility or system profiler. I'm in Apple System Profiler. So go to the installer. All right. Where did I put that? That's the installer. I thought I put the actual install here. Oh, I have the ISO, so I have to mount it. So I got to run toast. That's right. So, no, I don't want the installer for toast. I want toast itself. Here it is. So I'm running toast 5.0.2 on my tiny screen. Utilities, mount disk image. Mac OS 9.2.2 Universal Installer, open. All right, Mac OS install. It's running the installer. Hit continue. No, I don't want an OS 9. All right. Options. Nope, that's not it. Alright, this is where I don't know what I'm doing. So I need to use the disk utilities and not the installer for OS 9, correct? Utilities, drive setup. All right, not initialized. Initialize. It'll destroy the data. That's fine. Initialize. It's initializing the volume. It was successful. Now I need to format the disk. So initializing it's not formatting it, right? Now, do you format it under utilities or? Shouldn't it be asking me to format that drive after you initialize it? Or do I jump from here to the installer? Now you go to the installer, you should see it. Okay. Thank you. I love the delay built into this. It's so convenient. Okay. Continue. Destination disk untitled. So that's right. Select before you install. Yada yada yada. Continue. Continue. Agree. Start the installation on Untitled. It's running. 14 minutes, so it formats. Oh, it formats when you initialize it. Okay. Well, it looks like it's running the installer. Of course, I have no blinky light or anything to see that it's doing anything with the hard drive. Well, does initialization also partition? You know, I just don't know that much about OS 9 and the earlier ones when it comes to hard drives. So, but it does appear to be working. It says it now has 13 minutes left. If it were going to fail, it would have done it by now, I think. So, cool. So, I'm not going to put it back together yet. I'm going to let it finish. So, what else? So, I got the memory upgrade in. Thanks again, Garth. Got the new drive in. I guess, you know, if I had tried assembling everything back together, it would have not worked, right? And I would have had to figure out a different way to initialize it. So, not putting it together meant it would be successful. Yeah, Justin, it didn't want to allow your post, so I enabled it. Hope nobody else ran into a problem. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll work too. It says it's got 10 minutes left. I might as well just stay on the live stream. I would understand if nobody wanted to sit here and just twiddle their thumbs waiting for it to end. I wonder if there's something else I could talk about here. Well, I don't really want to do this tonight because it's already 9:30, but I did get a replacement battery for this because the battery's dead on it. We picked it up at an auction for like, I don't know, $8. And of course the battery costs more. I didn't want to wait for the slow boat from China to ship it, so I bought it from a US seller. And it came with the cheapest set of tools you could possibly get. Oh, if I remove the RF shield, you'd see a blinking green LED. I'm not going to mess with it. Where's the blinking LED? On the drive itself? A list of eBay auctions. What cool things are in those eBay auctions? I was going to buy a SCSI SCSI Zip 100 that was up for auction last night, and I was winning at $15 until the last half hour when someone jumped on there and started bidding it up. I gave up at $45. Plus $10 shipping. It really doesn't. It's not something I really need, and I'd have to get discs for. But I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll do it. I might have paid, like $30 or $25 for it, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money. I know that the parallel ones are a dime a dozen. So, reading the chat. $76 what available? Had a couple of weird systems where it looks like the OS is installing properly, but it won't boot. Oh, okay. Oh, 4164 drams for the Apple IIc. Now, the 4164, are those proprietary, so you have to get sacrificial ones, or are they Jelly Bean Logic you can just pick up, or what? If someone wants the moon for them, they must be proprietary. So you have to sacrifice a 2C or a 2 to get them. Okay, it says about 5 minutes to finish, so let's hope it'll reboot. I kind of want to be able to use this thing. So, anyway, cracking into this is going to be fun. But after I do this one, I'm going to replace the battery in this one. This is even tinier and more difficult, and I'm probably going to do a lot of swearing, so maybe I'll live stream. Why not? So if it's a generic memory part and lots of computers use them, why are they so unobtainium? Or is it just people being ridiculous selling them? Yeah, I'm really hoping with the memory and the mSATA in this thing, it's going to fly. Because I want to make the hipsters jealous when I go to the coffee shop. Because I'll be, surfing the old net. So anyway, I've got these batteries to do, so that'll be fun. Hopefully these things, I mean, they worked as long as they were plugged in. You could charge them, you could put the music on them and stuff. You just, as soon as you unplugged them and tried to play anything. I think this one lasted for maybe a couple of minutes, and this one, it stayed hard orange the whole time. But I was able to put music on it, so I'm hoping that it works. I also have this. It's we had iPod Touches before we had phones, and this one actually works, but it's trying to call the mothership. So I can get it to boot up here. We had a hard time finding a cable in our bin of cables that actually worked, that connected with it. We had 5 cables and only one of them worked. So less than a minute left on the install. Are you going to turn on? Are you going to do your thing? Anyway, it wants, there it goes. It wants iTunes. So I have to get the right iTunes on it and get it to recognize it. And hopefully that'll work and we can resurrect that thing. I don't know what the battery's like on it though. Still saying less. Okay, installation process has finished. So I'm going to go ahead and quit, even though I know... Oh, wait a minute. Before I do that, it should have mounted the volume, right? Yeah, Untitled's here. So I can open it. While I'm here, I am going to put the copy the emac drivers to it so that I can get a full screen. Yeah, I'm sorry you guys can't see the screen. Because the installation for 9.2.2 does not include the correct video drivers. The video drivers that are installed don't work properly. It thinks there's 2 screens because there's twice as much video RAM on this particular chipset than the standard one. Anyway, I dug around on the internet and I found that the emac ATI drivers work, and they did seem to work properly. So hopefully this should work. I'm going to shut it down. Gosh, it's so quiet. I'm going to pull out the USB drive and we're going to start it back up. The only noise now is the CD-ROM drive. Okay, I got a screen and a happy Mac face, and it flashed so fast by. Oh my God, it's working. Yay! I gotta show you this. So, apologize for the vomit cam, but look, we have a screen. A really tiny screen because the drivers are wrong. but it works. Yay! Oh, come on, get out of the way, network error. Yeah, quit. Okay. We gotta get these drivers in here. Now last time I just went ahead and dropped all of them on here, even though I don't think I need to. Okay. Restart. Oh, I'm sorry about the shaky cam. But look how fast this boots. Oh. Did I hit restart or shut down? Okay. CD-ROM drive made its noise. Hey, thanks for coming out, Big Bad. And of course, it's not booting now. Oh, there it goes. I had to think a little while. Maybe it was the new drivers for the video. Boom, 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 boom. God, that's an ugly color scheme. Yes, I know the network time is near. Okay. Is it appearance? Yes. There we go. Plain Jane mono blue. So, hey, it boot. It appears to... Sorry, I'm not holding the camera in the right position. Yes, EMAC to the rescue again. So, alright. If you want to hang around and watch me put it back together, you know, you're welcome to. I'll keep the live stream going. Well, like I said, just imagine doing it in reverse. Okay, hopefully the camera will stay put. So let's shut this puppy down. Shut down. Thanks a lot, everybody, for your help. Dave, thank you for your advice. I appreciate all the assistance with, you know, making the thing fit, trimming back the edges of the case, and giving me the confidence to trim that board. You know, this is all new to me. I may have done mods like this for PC cases 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but you know, I'm not used to working on Macs, and it's a learning experience, and I really appreciate it, so thanks. I'll just sit here and put it back together. I really would, you know, one of these days I am going to see if I can't do something with the backlight, because it would be nice to be able to not have to fiddle with the screen. Most of the time until tonight, it could be because the frame's all open. I haven't had any trouble at all getting it to display the screen. So hopefully I haven't made it worse by taking it apart. It's entirely possible. Let's get this keyboard back out again. Well, that's a little warm. This is a little warm where the drive is, so I hope that's not going to be a problem. I mean, it's not any hotter than the regular spinny drive was, but you know, you just have this little vent on the side. I've read about people putting little fans in them to try to cool them down. But is there really enough room in this thing to put a fan? Even a little tiny one? I suppose you could probably rig something up on the edge, but that would look like a colostomy bag hanging off the side of it, in my opinion. So hopefully this doesn't get too hot. You know, they do get warm? Yeah. Well, you know what? As long as it doesn't cause a logic board failure, and the drive itself is what would go, then yeah, I don't want to, but I could do this again, and I could put a, you know, like a higher quality one in, or maybe I could rig up some kind of a tiny little fan that would fit inside the enclosure. I don't know if that's even possible. So yours gets pretty warm in the clamshell too, huh? How long have you been running it, David, or Dave, in the in that clamshell? It's really probably more. How many hours have you run the machine since you did that? Yeah, this piece of tape's not doing anything. Okay, back to the guide. Screwing it back together. So I got where did I leave off? Did those four? I need to do the two larger shaft Phillips. Okay. Let's get these screws out of the way since they are from the mSATA drive. I don't know why I'm not using the tweezers. And put your glasses back on, Eric. So I have this problem. The screen looks a lot better without my glasses because with the progressive lenses, it's a narrow band. I've got a prescription for just some bifocals for close-up and near distance viewing. But right now I basically take the glasses off when I'm using a computer and put them back on when I want to look at something close up. So doing this kind of stuff back and forth is kind of annoying. Okay, drop the screw. Nope, that's not the right place here. This is. Alright. Those two screws are in. The yellow one next to the sleep light. So here's a question. So you ran it for a couple of days without turning it off. That's good. Should you change, I assume you don't really want it to sleep or to turn off the hard drive. There's no point. It would be like a blue SCSI. Need some NFV? Please tell me what NFV means. I do have. I'm just not using it. Where is it? Here it is. I have one of these, and it actually works pretty well. You know, it does about 6 times magnification when you combine the lenses, and because they're big enough, I can wear my glasses with them. But I think what I want to do is go ahead and get the bifocals. I think that'll serve me well for this. I'm just lazy and haven't gotten around to ordering them. You know, if I wait too long, I'm going to have to go back to the ophthalmologist again. Get a new script. Okay, so where were we at? I did the 2 4.5 millimeter, I did the 1, then the 6 3.5. Excuse me. And the 6 3.5 go in these various locations. Okay. You know, when I opened this thing the first time, a lot of the screws were a little bit loose. I don't know if it was just from years of being carried around and starting to shake loose, or if the guy that put it together, the person who put it together last time, was a little sloppy on the tightening the screws. Maybe they just get that way, they get loose. You go here. What did you do last night? I watched a guy screw for hours. Sorry, I had to say it. And he took no pleasure in it. Actually, I had a lot of pleasure when the drive worked. So it was all worth it. Okay, so I got those screws in. Now there is 1, 4.5, Well, hopefully I put the right screw there. Oh yeah, no, I'm on the wrong one. This one. Okay, 14 screws. Don't have any extras. So we're good. Reading the chat. Oh, near variable focus. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of why I want the bifocals, because the progressives, the band that I need for close work is just too small. And then for the distance, it's annoying. And if I've got them on and I'm looking at a computer screen, I'm looking all over the place for that narrow band where it's in focus. So they just drive me nuts. I leave them on the end of my nose most of the time. So that's what the bifocals are for, is mid-range. And well, reading, I don't need any correction, because like the monitor distance, about 20 inches, I can see just fine. I have a little bit of astigmatism on the left that makes it, my eyes get tired if I don't wear glasses when I'm doing reading or something. But the close-up work is just I can't. I have to have the glasses on for it. All right, where was I? 14 screws are done. Step 34, top shield. Okay, we got the top shield. Step 33. Is talking about the magnet. Oh, okay, so we got to get this back on. So we've got that in. I want to double check to make sure I've got it seated in there all the way. Okay, this has got to go on. So that's back in. Oh, that's back in. Oh, now we got to stretch it over the power adapter. Let's get it in the right position. Getting a lot better at stretching that thing. Okay. Now we get to put this touchy, lovely thing back in. Which always looks like it's crooked and on an angle to me. But apparently that is correct. It must be just far enough in there to make contact. There doesn't seem to be a lot of slack, but just to be sure. All right. So that's on. Goes this way. More Kapton tape to the rescue. That's what she said. Hey, Zodium. So I use tweezers so that I don't drop things and lose them, and I still manage to make things shoot across the table. Okay, those 4 are in. Or 3, I should say. Then we need the magnet screw. Okay. And this is step 25 where they want you to put the magnet in. I'll wait until I put the keyboard in. Oh, now we're at the funky screws for the drive. The easy screw is in. Now I need to hold this in the right spot while not dropping it, Eric, and not letting it go so that the magnet steals it. Ta-da! So I'm getting faster at doing this. I really don't want to be 440 units faster. That's just crazy. Okay, now we are at step 21 where we do the upper case screws. So this one, the one that does not match the iFIXIT size, because there were some variations in the case. On the picture on iFIXIT, it's a much smaller head hole. There is no screw here. And then we have the 2 that go there. engage the threads. And we have our springs. I have to go back in. That I should probably put a little lithium grease on, but I'm not going to bother. I don't think they really need it. Okay. Plastics will get the best of us. Okay. My nice polished up shell that you can see all the scratches in when you look at it closely, but it does look better than it used to. So the trick here is to make sure that you have these lined up properly or they can break off. Just want to make sure that they get into the right position. There's another place where you feel like you're breaking things. Okay, all that's back in place. And we've got these two screws. Okay, screw through 3 screws on the back. Remember, this isn't a short one, these are long. This one is not a Phillips. Okay. Nearly there. Now I got to reassemble the feet. Oh. Got to do it in the right order. These suckers have to go in first. I'm getting tired. And I get to drive to work tomorrow instead of working from home because my employer doesn't believe, or rather thinks that there's a synergistic thing that happens when we're in the office. And we can't miss out on that synergy. Oh well, it's only 2 days a week. It could be worse. They could insist me being back in the office 5 days a week. Right? So I will stop complaining because there were people for the last 2.5 years that had to continue working wherever they were working. And I had the privilege of working from home. So, more power to them. And as far as I know, I've not ever picked up COVID. So, at least any of the testing's been negative. So, who am I to complain? You'd broken half of the snaps by now. Yeah, I really have learned to take my time with these things. And honestly, this is probably the last iBook I will ever purchase. I mean, I don't have a G4. I don't have a clamshell. Right? But generally, I buy these things so I can use them. I like this machine because it runs OS 9. It's got a decent battery. It runs fast. And I can do HyperCard on it. A lot easier than the 520C with the passive matrix screen. So that's really why I got it. Is because... and it was $30. So that commute to work, yeah, walk from your bed to your office. Yeah, it's actually roll out of bed and sit in a chair. It's that close. So, but I am an hour's drive away from work. And although I'm in management and I didn't work from home, even though our department actually had a 3-day work from home option. And some of the managers would work like Friday from home, that kind of thing, because there isn't a lot going on Fridays. I never did. But I tell you what, I really got used to having 2 hours of my day back, not commuting. And with gas prices the way they are, it's really nice only filling up the tank. I was filling up the tank every week. You know, I mean, I drive a Saturn Ion. It's not like it's a shabby car. Well, it is a shabby car, but it gets 30 miles per gallon, so I can't really complain. Yeah, why get out of bed? Yeah, staying in bed all day would be bad for me. My back would start to hurt if I did that. All right, so just so I don't screw this up, what have I got left? I got the feet in. We got the 2 screws for the shield and the magnet for the keyboard. So we're nearly there. Just want the magnet, not the screw that's attached to it. Boop. That's easy. Self-assembly. Okay. Ye old shield. Okay, I do have the keyboard attached, right? Because I don't. Don't put the shield on, Eric. Put the keyboard on. Duh. First time I did this, I put it back together and went, oh, yeah, keyboard. Keyboard's kind of important. Yeah, turn the keyboard the right way, too. Okay. Now we can put the shield on. I'm looking at my tray, and there's 2 extra screws here because of the kit for the mSATA drive. Threw me off for a second. I'm like, oh God, you forgot 2 screws. And they're way over here, so they must have been the very first ones you needed to put back in on reassembly. This is something else I got to get working. Obviously, my modern Wi-Fi router does not support it, so I'm going to have to set up an old one. So I can have a totally insecure network for the old Macs. And I did it again. I didn't plug that in first. Duh. Oh, come on. Someone thought this clipped idea was easier, did they? Because it's not. And of course I've got it routed up through. What a pain. I just want the thing done. I don't want to mess with this. I do have an old router that I have, network router I have hooked up that supports the 68Ks. So it does 10 megabit. Oh. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I actually have an old router instead of a network switch that has a line from the fast router, so that I got a 10 megabit network set up for the old Macs, I could add a wireless router to that. You know, actually, I was thinking maybe I could do a Raspberry Pi W thing or something like that, because I think those will support the older protocols. But I don't know. It's something to play around with later. All right, so that's connected. Double check the list. Shields in, airport cards in. All we have to do is drop the keyboard in place because we got the magnet in. This is all set. Get the keyboard set properly. And that, oh, I gotta double check. I think I taped it on with Captain tape to make sure it wouldn't fall off. The metal disc that was glued just had a little bit of sticky tape glue. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. What is up with my fingernails? There we go. This little metal disc had some glue on the back of it, you know, just sticky, and it wasn't really staying there, so it wasn't holding down the wasn't really holding down the keyboard. So I put a little Captain tape on it, my favorite tape in the world, and now it holds it down well enough. All right. So in theory, this should be ready for the battery. Helps if you put it in the right way. Okay, battery's in. Feels like it's together. Ow, man, my neck hurts. Okay. Now let's do it without the battery, or without the power. Let's just do it with the battery. That lovely, lovely chime. See if I can tilt it up so you guys can see it. Actually, I just moved the camera. Get the screen in the right position. Oh, come on. Please. I bet you every time I take this apart, it gets, I guess it was still trying to light up. So. We got our boot screen. Our very speedy startup sequence. Okay, maybe it's not that speedy. It's thinking. Oh, I don't have network on it. Here, let's give it a network. Well, I'm going to have to set everything up, obviously, but trackpad's working. So it's back together. Yay! So how long did it take me? It's 10:30. I started the stream at 7. So it took 3.5 hours for me to do this with a lot of talking and stuff. I probably could have done it a little bit faster by myself, but I'm glad you lovely people were able to join in the fun. Oop, can't see the chat. So, yeah, I think it's working. So, you know, maybe someday I'll tackle the backlight, but probably not until it fails, and it won't, you know, or if I have to fiddle with it like for 5 minutes or something. So 3 hours, 30 minutes. So next week we'll do it again, and we'll speed test. No, I'm not doing it again. All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining, and I'm not going to say it was fun to do, but I'm glad it worked, because I really don't want to have to tear into it again. Thank you again, Dave, for your advice, and everybody else that helped out with, you know, making the card fit. It seems to work really well. I'm very happy with it, and you know, hopefully I'll be able to, you know, too bad I can't use this to do my presentations for HyperCard. I don't have a scaler that works with it properly, so I have to use the 520 for that. But anyway, but that's good. I mean, I get a nice clear screen on the 520 when I do that. So I'm gonna close the stream here. I'm tired. I'm sure you guys are tired. I gotta work in the morning. Blah blah blah. So thanks again for showing up. See you on the next video. And I'm gonna cue the outro. So bye.